How you doing? Soul of a nerd. Good morning. Latte. Afternoon. It's about 12 something. On Sunday, May 20th. Go Cavs. This is last year's playoffs, but hey. Good win last night. Didn't get to see the game, but hey. They won. Blew them out. Good game. So here I am. With my long awaited, I'm sure you all been anxiously awaiting it. Everybody wants my thoughts, but here they come on the epic Marvel Studios film Avengers Infinity War. So, to be honest, I posted a video. I'm pretty sure I did. I hope I did. If I didn't, I will, which would be silly to look back at now, but hey, whatever. About my first reactions on seeing the movie. And I said then that it was a movie I definitely have to watch again. Just to recap that, I expressed a tinge of disappointment, probably only because I didn't really know how I felt about the movie coming out, and that was a weird feeling for me, especially for this movie with all the anticipation for it. So I say all that to say, I've seen the movie 4 times now. And now I'm ready to do a review. So that lets you know. It was a movie that needed to be seen at least twice, I should say. And it turned out I saw it 2 more times. But basically, I haven't even really prepared notes. I just kind of prepared the general outline of topics I would cover. So, the storyline is where I'm going to start. Going into the movie, see, this was the tricky thing about this movie, is that I had expectations, but I didn't, because nobody knew anything about the movie. So it's one of the most unique situations that I've ever seen. Sorry about this. In what am I looking at? One of the most unique situations I've ever seen in a superhero film, or any film really, or a big budget franchise sequel, story type franchise. So, because they did such a good job of building this anticipation and letting you know you knew the general concept of Thanos coming to get these stones, and if you're a fan of the cinematic universe and been following it, you kind of already know the implications, and that they hinted at deaths and things like that, and a lot of consequences, high stakes as they call it. So, but at the same time, we didn't know how anything was going to play out. We didn't know what characters would really play what role. So, it's not like how Civil War was, where there weren't as many characters. It was still centered around a central group of people. You know what I mean? You knew Thor and Hulk weren't going to be in it for the most part, because they kind of dealt with their absence in Age of Ultron. So, but this movie, everybody's going to be in it. So it's like, how's everybody going to be used? And so yeah, but storyline. Okay, a lot of this is going to be like me talking about how I felt after the first time I saw it versus, the third or fourth, whatever. Or even in between, over the progression of watching it 4 times. And I'm not done with it. I'm going to say this movie's actually becoming an obsession with me. Like, I see myself probably watching this movie. I could probably watch this movie once every week for the foreseeable future. Like, until I want to say until Avengers 4 comes out. I definitely will probably still be watching it after Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out. Like, I'm anticipating that movie, but I don't expect that to take any, thunder or take any momentum away from me wanting to watch Age of Ultron. Infinity War, or even with Black Panther coming out on DVD, that could interfere. Luke Cage is coming out Netflix June 22nd, so I have some other things I'll be looking at. I'm still catching up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm on like episode 10, so or 11. So I got like 11 episodes left to watch, and I don't know anything that happened with that, so no spoilers. Um, um, when I first came out of the theater, you know, it was kind of reminding me of how I felt about Age of Ultron. Like I saw a lot of stuff that they did and, you know, tried to accomplish. It was really ambitious, and I was just like, wow, there's a lot to take in. You know, and I had to ask myself, did I like what I saw from certain characters or certain story points? And, you know, like Age of Ultron, it felt like I didn't like some of the story points they did, or the way some of the characters were used. Honestly, with Age of Ultron, I mean, with Infinity War. So that being said, I knew that I liked the movie a lot, though. I knew it was epic. But I was saying then, it didn't feel like it beat out Avengers or Black Panther or Civil War, which for me are those are my perfect 10 scores for Marvel movies, in case y'all don't know, which you may not. I said in another video, but if this is your first video, you don't know that. So right now, those are my movies that have 10 scores. Is The Avengers, 2012, Civil War, Captain America Civil War, and Black Panther. That's it. There's some other ones, and I'm going to actually touch on my rankings at the end and let you know which ones are like the 10s, which ones are the 9s, so to speak. I mean, I'm not going to really touch on if it's below an 8. So my first thinking was like, you know, this is like an 8.5 movie, and I'm going to tell you why. Which I gave Thor Ragnarok an 8.5. So it was on Thor Ragnarok level, but maybe a little bit better. And one of the main reasons was I'm always looking for the Hulk. I'm a Hulk mark, so his usage and role usually plays a lot, in my opinion, of a Marvel movie. I mean, if he's in it. So naturally, with that being said, if you've seen the movie, this is spoiler heavy. You know him. I mean, first fight scene with him and Thanos was actually dope. Again, CGI is dope. They both look dope, but yeah, to think that was gonna be the first and last time you see the Hulk in the movie in the first 5 minutes. First of all, these guys, the Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, Russo brothers, Marcus and McFeely, the two writers, these guys got guts. They got vision. I mean, they will do some stuff that they believe in, and, you know, take chances and let the chips fall where they may, and stick to their guns. Because if they would have let something like that be known up front, they would have got roasted. It'd have been backlash for sure. So that's why they didn't want that to be known. And, you know, you got Mark Ruffalo. He was all over press and, you know, promoting for it. So you're just thinking, yeah, okay, I mean, he's in the movie a lot. But little did you know it's going to be Banner in the movie a lot. You know, they didn't let that be known. So that was a shock to me. I mean, they did it, and they played us. They pulled us by a string, man. How many times do you have where you think this dude's going to change? I mean, the first scene, confrontation in New York, I understand. I wasn't necessarily expecting that to happen then, because, you know, you could already almost tell there was going to be some backlash. Plus, I do a lot of following stuff on the internet, and they were already talking about how I saw some, you know, videos about quotes from him about saying how he was going to be scared of Thanos, the Hulk was going to be scared, which I think was inaccurate, and I still feel like it's inaccurate, even though there are people who are looking at it like, man, he was scared, he didn't even want to come back out. I'll get into that, but I never thought that's what it was about anyway, but after seeing it 4 times, I definitely don't, and hearing other fan theories, but I still, even in my own thoughts, I always figured they're saying Banner's going to be afraid of him, like deathly afraid of him. Of course, he's just Banner. So, and you saw that when he fell through the Sanctum. Don't get me started. Sanctum Sartorium or whatever it's called. You know, Doctor Strange's place. You know, he was freaked. But my point is for him to not change in the final battle. That's really all it is. You just expected that to happen. First of all, they teased us again, played us like freaking piano by having that scene in the trailer with him running behind in Wakanda, running behind the other Avengers. Didn't even happen, man. But I ain't even mad at him, you know. But if anything, he was running with him in the Iron. Man, what the heck is that suit called? Hulkbuster, the Hulkbuster armor. So that was a big disappointment. So I'm just getting that out. Like walking out of the theater, like dang. So these suckers did not bring the Hulk out. But at the same time, you saw him basically battling with Banner about whether he was going to come out or not. So again, it wasn't about him being afraid. It's just there's going to be more to it than that, and I'm going to give my thoughts on that. But even at the time watching it, you know, I'm just not trying to think about the big picture. I'm thinking like, come on, y'all, give me the freaking Hulk. You know, what are you doing? So that was crazy to me. Now, though, in retrospect, I think it's genius. It is genius, and it's going to pay off. I just said this to a friend of mine on a Facebook page. Or a Facebook post or whatever. So the storyline, though. I think the fact that this thing was focused on Thanos, again, brilliant. I knew it going in because I do enough nerdish research, following every possible video and theory and all this. Not every possible, but there's only a few channels and few YouTubers out there that I follow, which I'll shout them out at some point. But so I already knew it was going to be focused on him a lot, and I remember hearing that he and Thor would have the most screen time of anybody, and it did play out that way, and it played out wonderfully. So again, I didn't have a problem with that, but the way they went about. I put it like this. I will say that the first time watching it, I didn't totally grasp what his motivation was. Like, was it a big enough motivation for me for this to really be built on him doing all this? And I'll admit, the first time I was just taking everything in, so I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was great. Like, as far as me truly understanding the complexity of him as a character. But I'm going to get into talking about Thanos more anyways. But it's hard to talk about the storyline without talking about Thanos. What I liked about the storyline, let me just put it like this, and I liked this the first time I saw it, was how they did such a good job of putting these different characters grouped together, different settings, for different reasons, and it came across pretty naturally. So, loved it. So the storyline was great to me, honestly. Compelling, had me, interested on the edge of your seat, because it's like a race to get these stones. Basically, my least favorite part of it, though, whether it's a scene or a storyline, was probably, it got a little dragged with the part when Thor and Rocket and Groot go off to the Vandalier. Now again, this is my first time watching it. That's the part of the movie where it's like, can we get through this? I thought it was dope seeing the giant dwarf. And Peter Dinklage is he's always dope in movies. But it was a little bit like because it was, I don't know, it was like taken away from the action that was happening in Wakanda. But again, this is my first time watching it, so this is my thoughts. And then it just seemed a little drawn out, yeah. So other than that, other than that, and the fact that Hulk wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, yeah, that was a little disappointing to me. That's a small flaw. If you know the movie, that happens like shooting the third act, so they were doing fine, batting 1,000 up to that point. One of my favorite scenes is the scene where they've got Thanos. And upon watching it again and again, that's probably one of the dopest scenes in all superhero movies ever. And it's crazy because it's not like the most high action fight scene, or it's on the level of the Civil War airport scene in my opinion, but for different reasons. Thanos, I'm talking about when Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Drax, and Star-Lord, and Mantis, that whole thing, trying to get that glove off of him. Dope scene. Just him fighting all of them off, and then the whole plan, that if that was Star-Lord's plan, gotta give him credit. Better than Stark's plan, for sure. That was genius. It just didn't work out for obvious reasons. That was probably my favorite scene. And then, of course, the entire battle on Wakanda was emotional, and it was dope. It was you felt the intensity, the way they set up different areas of the characters fighting. The characters from Wakanda weren't really used all that well, but it's an Avengers movie, in all seriousness, if you got a problem with that, you're probably just like one of these people that, you're black, so Black Panther and everybody in Wakanda's got to be, featured prominently, or it's racist. It's like you're probably not a real person who follows the MCU. Give me Black Widow and freaking Falcon and War Machine and Captain America. Yeah, they're in Wakanda, but give me the characters that I expect to see handling business in an Avengers movie at this point in the game. The Wakandans, y'all are late to the game, so okay, but y'all did your thing, and Baku and Okoye, and even Shuri. For how they use these characters in these small ways, they, again, phenomenal use. Just like the Russo brothers have done in Civil War, they did it again. Shuri's usage was good. Baku, maybe not, being that he's kind of this big warrior dude, maybe he could have done more. But Okoye and Shuri were dope. They were basically what I remember, what you remember from Black Panther. Heck, Black Panther himself, T'Challa, was probably more underused than them. But I think that kind of speaks to his character anyway, which kind of presents a challenge for them, I think, going forward. It's like, it makes you realize he's a little under charismatic, because it's like he sometimes is easily outshined or forgotten about. But I'm not saying this as a real criticism, because I love the character. I love Chadwick Boseman's portrayal, and I think they're this is who he is, so they're going to stick to him being who he is. Hopefully they don't try to make him into a wisecracker or something like that, because they realize that Okoye and Shuri have more witty, I guess I should say, lines, which makes them appear more interesting, I guess I should say. But they'll step it up. But my favorite storyline throughout the movie was honestly Thanos's. The other one would probably be, that's a good question, man. Well, Thor's storyline. So there you go, the two guys who had the most screen time. And I like Banner's, after seeing it 4 times. But the first time, obviously, I was digging it, because I like Mark Ruffalo's portrayal. In a lot of ways, he stood out in the movie if you just watch it a couple of times. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's really what it is. And this is what is so dope about this movie. It's if you can appreciate film, some of us have short attention spans, some of us aren't that big into movies to where we feel like you should have to watch a movie a bunch of times. And again, there are movies you watch one time and oh my gosh, this was awesome, instant classic. And that's how I felt about the first Avengers movie. That's how I felt about Civil War. That's how I felt about Iron Man. That's how I felt about Black Panther. How I felt about Winter Soldier. Guardians of the Galaxy, Other movies you had to watch a few times, and that's not really a negative or a positive. It's just they're different. And sometimes there is something to be said for movies that you watch several times. The Dark Knight, I remember watching that, 6 or 7 times, man, before I said that was the best superhero movie I'd ever seen. And it was at that time. Because, again, there's nothing wrong with making layers to your movies. These movies don't always have to be instant gratification. So people have to, if you're a movie fan, you know how to discern the difference, and you know how to approach. Once I realized it wasn't going to be one of these instant gratification movies, I said, okay, well, let's watch it a few more times. So that's what happened. So I'm probably getting real nerdish on this, but this is how I do. So I'm gonna be wordy, and I get in depth with this stuff and the way I think about things. So on any topic, really. Uh, so yeah, the Thanos storyline, the development of understanding what he was about, and his dynamic with Gamora was great, as well as the again, it's hard to even pick a favorite because each situation that put the heroes together was done so well. Um, I'm actually, yeah, this will fall under a surprise. Well, let's put it like this: what I was surprised about. Now I'm like fast forwarding and watching the movie where I've seen it 4 times. And I actually figured this out actually the first time I watched it, but it's only grown more. One of the best parts of this movie for a franchise that doesn't get the little love stories right, if you know where I'm going with this, the Vision and Wanda love story is actually pretty freaking gut wrenching. It is done well for characters that were only introduced. Wanda in Age of Ultron, well, yeah, Vision, both of them introduced in that movie. And you look back at the scene where he pulled her out of that train before it blew up or something like that, and then their developing relationship in Civil War where he was assigned to basically guard her, watch over her, babysit her, to where they were in the beginning of this movie. Chemistry between them is great. By the way, Elizabeth Olsen, I mean, well, I'm gonna get more to this. She's doing a great job with that character, and Paul Bettany's always been good, so I've liked him in a lot of stuff. But yeah, the Vision and Wanda love story was dope, honestly. I mean, when you think about like Thor and Jane Foster, and uh, I don't want to really think too much about the Banner and Black Widow thing in Age of Ultron, which wasn't terrible, but I wasn't digging it. And then obviously Iron Man and Pepper Potts, but they're old news by now. So when you think about those relationships, and then or even Black Panther and Nakia, which is fresh. This thing with Vision and Scarlet Witch, it's dope. I mean, like here's what I will say right now. I'm gonna interject this here. Try watching this movie. So you're gonna have to watch it more than once. If you're a person who's only seen it once, maybe twice, watch this movie a few more times. Well, I don't want to recommend or advocate underhanded methods, because I don't know if you're gonna go to the movie theater and pay that many times. But I mean, I would. Let's just say I didn't necessarily do that to see my 4 times, but it's been more than once that I saw it in the theaters. Let's just put it like that. So I have paid my fair money. But try to see this movie like 4 times, like I did, maybe more. And each time you watch it, even throughout the movie, you can switch it up. Look at the movie from the following the story of a particular character or a particular couple characters or group of characters. You know, if you can multitask in your brain and see how you feel about the movie. Because this is what I'm saying. This is the kind of movie, if you watch it and you put yourself in Wanda and Vision's, just follow them, follow their story. I mean, pay attention to everything else, but when their scenes come up, really focus in. You will see a dope story told for them. If you watch it from Spider-Man, Peter Parker's perspective, from the time he first comes on screen to the end, that's going to be the stuff that makes you, knowing what happens to him at the end, the dusting is going to hurt. Watch it from Iron Man's perspective. Watch it from Thor's perspective. You see what I'm saying? Watch it from Banner. And this is why I say, after seeing it a few times, like, Banner was actually one of my favorite characters after all, even, once again, being the Hulk without being the Hulk. You see what I'm saying? So the only people you really can't do that with is probably Groot or, Falcon, and you can even do War Machine, actually. You can't really do it with Falcon. Can't really do it with Black Panther either. Can't do it with Winter Soldier, I don't think. Or Gamora or Shuri. But Drax, you can. Gamora, you obviously can. Star-Lord, you can. Doctor Strange, you can. You see what I'm saying? Cap, you Yeah, maybe not even Cap, because that was another thing I was a little disappointed in, because I expected him to do more. Let's put it like that. I'm gonna put it simple. What did I expect him to do? I don't know, but I certainly expect him to have more screen time and to do more. But again, there's reasons behind this, I believe. Nothing I can really confirm, but I've read enough things that make me kind of feel this way. But I'm not gonna cite them specifically. I'm just gonna give you my thought. But they still did something to give him some. He was the last dude standing between Thanos and Wanda and Vision. Got his ass knocked out, but yeah, he tried. You know what I'm saying? He never backed down from a freaking fight. I just wanted him to say I could do this all day, but he'll probably say that in Avengers 4. And well, I'm gonna get to mark out moments later on. That's gonna be a feature for my superhero movies, or maybe action movies in general, because mark out, it's a phrase that generally comes from wrestling. If you're